Hello. This is the Awful and Awesome Entertainment Wrap, episode 347. I'm Rajyasree Sen.
I'm Abhinandan Sekhri.
And I'm Rahul Desai.
So, Rahul is a writer, columnist, film critic. He's been reviewing films since 2013, and his cinema and sports columns have appeared in Hindu, Array, Open Magazine, and First Post. And he's currently a contributing author with The Film Companion and OTT Play. And
I have his review open in front of me. You have reviewed Crew, Tabu Karina Kriti take you on a bumpy flight. So we shall hear. I would have loved to watch this had it not been this month with elections around the corner and all the reporters wanted to go cover elections. Like you saw the coverage of the electoral bonds by the team at News Minute, Scroll and News Laundry was churning out one story after the other. I think we finally churned out over 30. But those teams are still working because there's so many entries of the electoral bonds. And in the midst of all this, they have to cover elections. And that means budgets for travel, for our reporters to go. While we have only, I think, 4 or 5 iPhones, now we have to suddenly make 8, 9 available. So we could do with some help. We don't take any ads, as you've seen. But you've seen ads everywhere else. Mr. Modi is on an advertising spree. Of course, the Delhi's LG has made sure that Mr. Kejriwal can do no advertising. Yogi Adityanath is an advertising spree, and all the news platforms are pretty much dependent on government ads. We take no ads from government or Mr. Adani or Mr. Ambani. We depend on you. So in the show notes below, click on subscribe and pay to keep news free, and you can contribute to specific election related projects. This election is going to be covered jointly by the News Minute and News Laundry teams. So do contribute so that we can remain ad free and public interest journalism is supported by the public. And also this entire podcast of Awful and Awesome is going to be outside the paywall and completely on video. It's a full video podcast. Apparently that increases engagement.
we've been told
Who wants to engage with us is what I want to know.
there's an audience for everything. David Dhawan has taught us this. So, BJP has taught us this. So, you don't know. We are appealing to someone clearly.
Right. So anyway, check out the 2 links below, the most important ones, so that we can keep the kitchen fires burning and send everybody across. So we have the regime, the film Crew, the zone of interest, and 2 ads, one of the Congress and one of the Bharatiya Janata Party. I have watched both the ads.
Your contribution is stellar. So, according to me, Abhinandan's like Nora Fatehi in a film. He comes in, he does a 5-minute number, and people are happy with that. That's the important thing, no?
Yeah, that's me. Call me Nora, Niku Nora. So, before we come to Crew, which is going to be, I was dying to watch it because actually it looks very interesting in the promos. And I think all 3 are good performers. And all
That's
3 can do
because
comedy.
you have a soft spot for Kriti Sanon. Shall I give an anecdote?
Give, I don't know.
What was that film? Tell me the first film that Kriti Sanon
Bareli
did.
Ki Barfi.
Yeah. So while we were watching it, only Abhinandan, even the director did not say this. Abhinandan Sandy said, she's going to become a star, absolutely. So I said, I'm so happy you have noticed this glimmer of talent in her, but she is good. But so the film, it's a new, when did it release? Last Friday, right?
Yeah.
Or Friday before last, I don't know. It's been around for a week. So I went and saw it also on big screen. And it has Kriti Sanon, Kareena Kapoor Khan and Tabu acting in it. Rajesh Krishnan, A. Krishnan has directed it, who directed Loot Case, which I had really liked actually. So I watched TVF Tripling as well, which was not bad. Wasn't great, but it wasn't bad at all. And in this film, these 3 actresses play air hostesses. They are working on an airline called Kohinoor, which is basically, it's not even a light reference to Kingfisher. It is Kingfisher.
Who plays Vijay Mallya?
That guy, tell me, I love him. The Bengali actor.
Rahul?
Shashwata Chatterjee.
Shashwata Chatterjee.
Shashwato. See, Rahul, your Guju pronunciation is Shashwata. She quickly corrected you, Shashwato. Basically, if you want to be part of this podcast, A, get used to be spoken over. B, say every A has to be O, otherwise she'll find you and kill you.
I was hesitating to say the actor's name because I knew immediately I would be corrected, but I'm glad you did.
Yeah, but it's okay. He works with Dipanjana, so he's used to my behavior.
How come she's Dipanjana or Dipanjano?
because his name is Deepanjana. Keep quiet. And no, so he plays something Valia, his name is. Something instead
Yeah,
of
but
it.
it's Vijay Walia, basically.
Vijay
It's not
Walia.
even...
Are you serious? That subtle? Okay.
And-
It's so interesting that when the going was good, everyone in Bollywood used to suck up to him and how.
Yeah.
And now that the going is bad, I mean, everyone makes fun of him. I told you I once landed up at his party in 2001 or 2 at his
In Goa.
in Goa. Long story, but me and 7 of my friends landed up at Vijay Mallya's party as the first guests before anyone came. And he was wondering who the fuck are they here. And all those chatus, including journalists and people sitting in parliament right now,
They were all there.
they are all chatuing.
This is at the when it was already starting to dip.
No,
His.
then he was flying
This
high.
is
He was
so anyway. So this is they are working at Vijay Walia's airline, which is and they have those red uniforms, everything. They might as well have called it Kingfisher, but they'll get sued and he would have made some more money. And they are going through like their salaries have not been paid. All sorts of things are happening. What all happened with Kingfisher is being repeated over here. And the story is about how they decide to make a big, quick buck, basically.
just these 3.
Just these 3. And Tabu is the senior flight stewardess, like the head of the cabin, that kind of thing. Karina is the mid-level, as in they are all in business class, but they are seniority-wise. And Kriti Sanon is the newer one. Kriti is from Haryana. And she used to be a topper and so on, and she wanted to be a pilot, but she didn't become a pilot. She became a flight stewardess. Kareena Kapoor's backstory is just that her parents abandoned her or died.
Yeah, pretty
Something
much.
abandoned
Yeah.
her.
And
Right?
she's brought up by a grandfather.
Gulbhushan Gharbanda. And Tabu is married to Kapil Sharma, and they are middle class family. He runs a catering business out of their home. And she is
Diljit Dosanjh is also in the film, right?
his love interest also. He is Kriti's love interest. So there are a lot of serious things which are discussed in the film though. Right?
Serious things as in what exactly?
As in like, oh, you didn't see? I looked at it with a less jaundiced eye than you. So,
Wait one sec. Rahul, you didn't like the film?
No, it didn't work for me. I actually went in really with the same hopes that I think all of us went in with, because you don't see this cast every day in the same film. And I had expectations, but I mean, I came out really disappointed. But yeah, we'll get
And
to that.
does it have an item song? Because sometimes that makes a film watchable.
there's the end credits is an item song, I suppose, with
Everyone thought the
Badshah.
Choli Ke Piche remix would be the item song
But
in
it's
it, but
not.
it actually played very mildly
Yeah.
in the second.
Oh, okay.
And it's so, maybe my expectations were very low.
Okay.
That's there. So I
Dude,
thought it
one
would
second.
be, what?
That is the theme of your life. Your expectations are very low. You find Saif hot. You have
Saif
watched.
is very hot.
You have watched a film with Akshay
Who?
Kumar.
Many films. are like
Many. So so you don't have to say my expectations are low. We know.
I thought Akshay Kumar was very good in Yeh Dillagi, by the way. He was.
Those were the days. Yeah.
Rahul, you didn't sound completely convinced, but okay.
I look, I love comedy Akshay and Khiladi Akshay, but I don't like nationalistic Akshay so much. So it's this. I'm in the same boat as many others.
Yeah, so he can't do serious cinema. Yeh Dillagi
Yeah.
and all he can do. No?
So Rahul
Yeah.
was disappointed with Crew, but you enjoyed it because
No,
it's got
I did
great
not.
reviews. I think even Shubhra gave it a decent review, right?
I was not impressed by it. I thought it's like Viredi Wedding. It's the same caliber as Viredi Wedding. So they put together a very nice bunch of actors. So Diljit Dosanjh is there. Shashwato is an excellent actor himself.
Has to be.
Keep quiet. He's the guy from Kahani.
The overrated fellow.
No, that's Parambrata. He's thinking
Yeah.
of Parambrata.
Is Bob Biswas and Khan.
Yeah,
He's
that Bob,
Bob.
like, oh my god. So I saw it it's a mediocre performance, man. Anyway.
You didn't
Then-
even like the film. And who else? There's some other actor. The guy who plays their boss. He's a very well-known actor.
Yeah.
You've really come prepared, no? You make fun of me that I come to a show about reviews without watching a film. At least when I do watch it, I know who the fuck was in it.
No, I know all the details of Zone
Very
of
famous.
Interest.
So and so very famous.
No,
Music
no,
is by
he
very
was-
famous.
No, music is by Badshah and
Directed
this
also by
thing.
very famous.
The director's name I got right. Don't act smart with me. But so basically, I felt it was they tried to do 9 to 5 That film with Lily Tomlin.
Rahul is too young to remember that film, Rajyasree.
Shut up. You
Come
know
on.
Dude, what are you
9 to
saying? 9 to
5?
5? I was in class 6. He must not even have been
Yeah,
born.
but we watch films which are made before we
Not
were
anymore.
born.
Rahul, have you ever heard of this film 9 to 5?
I'm quickly looking it up as we speak about
See?
it. But okay.
No one's heard of it, Rajyasree said you
So
give these
sweet.
references from...
No, listen, I don't want to ask you how old you are, but you must watch 9 to 5. It's a
Very
film with
old.
Jane Fonda, Lily Tomlin, and Dolly Parton. And it was this hilarious comedy about these 3 women who work in an office. They have a horrible boss, and they decide to get revenge on him. And there's this whole it was a very well scripted, fun film. This one is sort of like that, but not as well scripted. And it reminds me of that Ocean's 11 spin-off that happened with all the
All
women.
girls. But
Yeah.
I mean, all 3 of these performers are good with comedy, and they had Kapil Sharma and Diljit Dosanjh. So I guess the writing let it down.
So Diljit and Kapil don't have funny roles. They are playing serious people.
Yeah, but yeah, they're barely there in the film.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize when sort of Kapil was written off at some point. And Diljit, though, I mean, I love watching him on screen, and I was really hoping he would be there for most part of the film. But yeah, I think the film did to the male characters what a lot of male-driven comedies do to female characters, basically.
I see. They just were there for... Diljit is there in it.
Yeah, so then
Yeah,
there's a heist basically that these 3 women
There's
try
gold
to take.
involved.
There's gold smuggling that they're showing how people.
The promo, I must say, really, had it not been for such a busy time, I would definitely have made an effort to watch this film. I mean, the whole setup and
But
all is
it's
very
good that you didn't. This is my.
Really?
Yeah,
I'm
you
very
would have been
surprised.
very disappointed. But
I mean, even if it were not my job, I would have watched it also.
Yeah, you and
going
I-
by the promo alone.
huh.
Yeah, exactly. It was a great promo.
But I feel people who make these promos are the real unsung heroes.
See, there is also the thing I mean, you can't discount the theory that because Kriti Sanon played that Ram Sita film,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, Ram said, I'll make sure your films are terrible from here on. Like Yami Gautam, also same thing happened. No? New films, now both these people had such potential,
And they're
they're
both
doing
crashed.
this C-grade propaganda shit. And Piyush Mishra is going on a bender. He's gone off in the head. One day we shall do a full expose on him also. So I think it is basically divine intervention. That cannot be discounted, is what I'm saying.
But she holds her own next to these 2. That much I'll give her.
I'd argue she's better than the 2
Yeah.
of them in this film.
Oh, really?
Because, I feel like it's the same thing that happens to a lot of these slightly newer directors. I think they get a little overwhelmed by a problem of plenty, what to do with such good stars, so they don't know how to use them. So I feel like Kriti Sanon was the only one who looked comfortable with the comedy in the film. I don't think Kareena was good at all. I think Tabu was the worst thing about the film, and I don't say that very often. So
How sad.
so that's what I said. It's very interesting because I went in with expectations for the first time in this year, and because of that, I think I probably ended up disliking it more than most.
Yeah.
Anyway, you can read the full review that
Rahul
has
did.
appeared on Film Companion. It's
I
written
mean,
by
I compared the film to RCB, so you can.
RCB being the Royal Challengers.
Royal Challengers Bangalore IPL team,
Okay.
because it was the whole Kingfisher connection and whatnot.
Okay, like
So,
that. I see. I mean,
So also a lot of it was, most Hindi film, this genre doesn't make logical sense throughout. But I felt in some parts it was too illogical also. Like, that plane sequence, then even the heist sequence, it has to either you be clever and be a little logical about your screenplay, or you go all out nonsensical. Like a Golmaal film, I don't think people expect it to be logical. No? There are lots of stars, they're doing a lot of nonsense.
Yeah.
It's ha ha hoo hoo, that kind of thing. This doesn't, so they put them in situations, and then it's almost like they aren't able to think through the story and how to tie it up together. And there were so many lines. There was smuggling, there was the heist, there was then that fight with that other air hostess, then that plane happens. It's too many things were happening, none of which were ending properly.
okay, so tell me 2 things that were great about the film, Rahul, and then
I'll tell you.
Rajyasree.
I thought the Choli Ke Piche remix was not bad at all, which in my books is pretty good. And I kind of enjoyed Diljit Dosanjh for the 2 scenes he was in.
Okay.
2 or 3 scenes he was in, and I don't think, and what you mentioned about also the sort of too many things happening at once. We had Madgaon Express just a week before this. It was a male buddy comedy,
which
and
I'm
a lot of
dying to
nonsense.
watch.
A lot of nonsense happening in it. But again, you don't question that because the film entertains you at a very fundamental level. It goes all out with its slapstick. It commits to everything. This film was, you could see it was in awe of Tabu and Kareena and was being very careful about maybe not just not knowing how to use them. And I think because of that, we started questioning the logic, the details, and stuff like that.
What were the two good things for you?
The cast. And the second thing I can't think of. I can't. It was a very Netflix film. I could have watched it at home. The thing which struck me was I no longer work full time, like in a job. So I am able to go in the morning for a film. So I went at 10:30 for this film, and I loved it because there was this woman sitting there who'd also gone to watch the film. She had her laptop with her. And she worked throughout. I just loved it. I was like, she is the person committed. She was watching and she was sending her mails out. So no one in her office knew she was not at
So I was watching this interview of this, I think, writer from Hollywood.
Okay.
Just because she was white and with an American accent, I said Hollywood, maybe she was from an indie scene. Maybe she's not. But the point she was making was that, I don't know whether you're aware of it, Rahul and Rajyasree. I know Rajyasree won't be aware of it. But Rahul might, because he takes his job a little more seriously. Because Rajyasree is a privileged Bhadralok.
Shit. So Rahul doesn't even want to laugh at this. He wants to laugh, but he doesn't think he should.
I don't know if it's decent to laugh.
Yeah, I don't think you should. Because it's a lie, what he said.
Cultured, okay? You're from the land of Modi and Shah. Don't pretend.
Yeah.
And Nirav Modi.
From that land, but
Nirav Modi. But okay, no, but she was saying there's a real thing. It wasn't a joke, and she was saying this with a lot of anguish. She is a writer. I forget her name. She was saying that we are told to write. It's called second screen writing. Are you familiar with this concept, Rahul? Second screen writing.
No,
so basically, the assumption of, and this is OTT, because most of the stuff from Netflix,
I read this.
Amazon, etc.
People are looking at another screen.
So they said that you got to reduce the complexity in this scene, reduce the dialogue, reduce the subtext, etc. Make it simple so that if someone has a second screen, they can still follow what's happening. It should not be oversimplified, but it should not be so complex that someone who's on a second screen doesn't get what's happening, because then you lose interest. So there is a thing in screenwriting, which is you're writing for second screen.
Yeah.
And she says it is so sad because we are just taking any nuance, any complexity, any subtext out of writing, and it's becoming more and more prevalent, and soon it'll be ubiquitous across all OTT spaces. So yeah, I thought that was depressing as hell.
But that's a lot of the films. So even when I recommend films to people like Zone of Interest, which we'll discuss now, I was recommending it to friends of ours.
Well, the only film you've recommended to me is
what?
Where it ends with Saif in a dungeon with rats. And you said it's a good film. He's acted well.
No, I said you watch
Hasina Maan Jayegi.
Nahi, Ek Hasina Thi.
Yeah, so bad. I was like, dude, I cannot believe Rajyasree has a show on films.
Please. No. Ek Hasina Thi, don't you agree that that's the first film where Saif acted properly?
Yeah, it was around the time of Omkara and all. I think that was him acting, technically.
And it was, don't say like that. I don't know what everyone has against Saif.
We're all jealous of him.
Yola.
Yeah.
I mean, I love him, and I love Kareena more. But
this is the problem with everyone.
Right. So the second item on our list is a show called. Is it a show or a film?
No, film.
Okay, that's also film.
Yeah, called
Zone of Interest.
Yeah,
I've heard a lot about this, but before that, so that I can contribute a little bit, let's talk about the two ads. The first one is this.
ये सब आपके रिश्तेदार हैं?
बिजनेस पार्टनर है जी। ये दीदी बंगाल में बिजनेस संभालती हैं, वो चाचा बिहार में, ये यूपी में, ये मुंबई में और ये चेन्नई में, और इन्होंने हाल ही में खोली है दुकान दिल्ली में। पूरे देश में बिजनेस फैला है जी, सब कमाते हैं और मेरी बात तो खाते हैं।
चीज है, चाइनीज नहीं।
दूल्हे तो आप ही हो ना?
और कौन होगा जी? देखिए, दादी का दिया हुआ सब कुछ है। सरनेम है, दौलत है, शोहरत है, इज्जत है, मतलब मिल जाएगी शादी के बाद जी।
I generally think that this ad is not effective, and I'll tell you why. I think what the BJP is doing is they are catering to the base, whereas you got to cater to the middle. And this will only make the base laugh. Ha, dekho, Rahul is such a chomu, or this one is such a fool, or this one is such a that. But it does not convince me. It just shows me that, okay, you have very tucha sense of humor and you're lampooning these people because you can. Because, I mean, if someone were to make an ad like these guys, news, they cut montages with Rahul's faux pas.
Yeah.
But Modi's, whatever.
Say his costumes.
Lodo na bhajia mein, whatever the hell he said, or, that entire, that clouds the, to maine bola bomb dal do. I mean, or extra 2A bhi mila ki nahi mila. You can cut a bloody 8-minute long montage of his demonstrating just the most amazing buffoonishness. But no one has the guts to do it. No producer has the guts to make it. No, channel will have the guts to air it. So these guys can do this kind of, but I'm not sure it convinces anyone of anything. For example, their first campaign, Janta Maaf Nahi Karegi, that was a very effective campaign.
महंगाई को लगातार बढ़ाने वालों, जनता माफ नहीं करेगी।
बिजली के लिए तरसाने वालों, जनता माफ नहीं करेगी।
हमारी बेटियों को सुरक्षा न दे पाने वालों, जनता माफ नहीं करेगी।
युवाओं को बेरोजगार रखने वालों, जनता माफ नहीं करेगी।
चलो हालात बदले, देश की सरकार बदले, भाजपा को वोट दे, अब की बार मोदी सरकार।
Actually, what the BJP, what the Congress should do is, rather than waste money and do new production, save that money, because this thing I'm being seen, run the BJP's 2014 as campaign in a window within a window, saying this is BJP's 2014 ad campaign. Mila? Mila kya? Question mark. That's it. They were talking about fuel prices, they were talking about dollars. Everything they were talking about has become worse in their time. They should just copy paste.
But for that, even Congress has to have some thought.
I say mil gaya? Ho gayi? Thand pe gayi? They should taunt the voter. I think that's the campaign. What do you think of the campaign of both?
It took me 2 seconds to wonder if you're talking about Rahul Gandhi or me, but it was great. Like, as soon as I...
Dude, I have been accused of being rude.
All the time.
Not that much also.
I think it's a very good segue to zone of interest, like talking about the BJP ads.
Yeah. And now to the zone of interest, which is set in the time of the Third Reich. So see, it's perfectly
perfect.
timed.
Very nice.
And speaking of second screen scripting, this is one of, so that's what I was saying, that this is one of those films which when I was recommending to someone, I said, you can't, like, you have to concentrate when you're watching this, because if for a second you look down and you're checking messages and all, you won't, first of all, they aren't speaking in English, they're speaking in German. It's like Anatomy of a Fall. You'll miss out something critical. You won't know what's happening then. So, Zone of Interest is set in 1943. It's based on this Martin Amis book, but it's about Rudolf Höss, who was the commander.
Not a reindeer, he was the horse.
Yeah, right. He loved
Rudolph
horses.
the red-nosed
He did
horse.
you're not supposed to joke about Nazis.
Had a very evil boss. And if you ever
So this is
saw
what
him,
happens when Abhinandan has not watched something that you're going to discuss.
you would slip on fresh, moist moss.
Okay, keep quiet. So
He didn't have the humor
he'll just leave. Rahul will leave.
of Rachel, Phoebe,
No,
or
I
Ross.
still feel like he's making a point about the film, even though he's singing.
No, you're really giving, this is how you were giving the crew more credit than it required. But Rudolf Höss was the commandant of the Auschwitz concentration camp, and it's about his time, a few years while he was
is
there.
this the one where they've shot a film without showing a single Jew? This is that film.
No, there are lots of Jews, but they aren't Jews in Auschwitz. You don't see any of the torture or any of the gruesomeness, but they still drive home the point very well. So
is there a character who's a Jew in the whole film?
Yeah.
Oh, there is.
There are
Okay.
3, 4.
But
This
there was
is
a
the
film,
same.
right? It's the same film.
It's the same film.
Which got the... Okay.
It's the same
Yeah,
film.
it's the same
It's
film.
more of the, you hear them, you hear what's
Yeah.
happening on the other side of the wall.
Okay.
And what we see is a very plain film about a German family going about
Right.
life.
Okay.
Yeah. So his house shared a wall with the camp, and the camp carries on. So, and his wife Hedwig, who is the same woman who was in Anatomy of a Fall, who's an excellent actress, Sandra Hüller. I would say the film is more about her than even him, because she sort of denotes what a lot of Germans at that time were like. So she and he have this beautiful, it's a lovely, very idyllic kind of home that they have. There's a swimming pool, they have 3 children, there's a dog, she keeps a beautiful garden, and she is almost oblivious to the fact that there is one of the most horrible concentration camps that they had is sharing a wall with her, and her husband is in charge of it. So you see the Jewish prisoners, some of them, their work is to come and give the laundry, wood, clean be a gardener, so on. So they do, so you realize that it's one of the prisoners because they are wearing when they turn the numbers there, their prison number is there. And it is by far one of the best films I've seen in a long
Really?
time.
Wow,
Absolutely.
okay.
It is just, and it's a short film, going by how long films are nowadays. I think it's a 2-hour film.
That's average. You have such nice things as well. Your first thoughts, Rahul?
I do. It's horrific and it's mercifully short also. But it reminded me of those things we do, even film critics and all over the last, I guess, since 2014 almost. I think a lot of us have this habit of saying कि craft alag hai, politics alag hai film ka. So, let's review a film for what it is. Ignore the fact कि propaganda hai, ignore कि BJP mouthpiece hai. A lot of reviewers have started reviewing films like that. So I felt like this film was very timely to watch, at least for me, because it was mocking exactly that habit of ours to separate the person from the crimes they commit, and separate a film from its politics, because you hear it throughout the film. You hear Jews being killed on the other side of the wall.
You see
and
that
this very
smoke.
idyllic,
That
and you
smoke
see
coming
the
out.
smoke and this very idyllic family. If you didn't hear anything of it, you would actually root for this couple, this married couple. So it's almost like कि अगर वो sound नहीं होता, तो we would have actually loved this German family.
And he's a very good father. He's a very good friend. He's a great team leader.
It reminds me a bit of, I don't know whether either of you have seen a film called The Boy in the Striped Pajamas. It's a 2008 film.
Yeah.
It's heartbreaking. Even that, that little boy, I mean, for those of you who haven't watched it, I highly recommend you watch it. It actually may make some of you cry. It's about, again, a guy who works in a concentration camp, who's part of Nazi Germany's SS, part of the Nazi party, and his son, because the family lives, his son becomes friends with one little boy in the concentration camp, and he goes to play with him, and he inadvertently ends up getting incinerated in the gas chambers. So that's the basic plot, but that also has that chimney.
Yeah, so you see the chimney. The other thing I felt that they get across, so a lot of things are driven home without them making a big to-do about it. But when he's sitting with the plans for Auschwitz and the other camps, and he's explaining to the other, like there are meetings happening, right? So Rudolf Horst is explaining to the other SS guys who are in charge of the concentration camps, and they will then go to Himmler and so on, why certain machinery needs to be bought. Because you see, when there's machinery, when you incinerate people, the air will move upwards, so the camp won't smell. And it's being spoken of the same way people who do air conditioning in factories say. So take the movement of the air, and everyone is very calmly talking about something very gruesome which they are planning on doing. And that's it. Till now, we've only been able to burn 3,000 people. When we put this in, you can take it up to 28,000. It can be more efficient. Or his son playing with a bag of golden teeth, which his father has clearly got back from there. Or the wife. The wife wears all the fancy clothes which the Jewish people were wearing when they were put on the train. And you get that class thing very well when her mother says, do you think, I've forgotten the character's name, do you think she's in the camp? So the wife says, so she said, the woman I used to be a cleaner for. Because many of these Jewish inmates were actually very rich, well-off people.
Sure.
And you get that power dynamic, and that's sort of why people didn't care, why the Nazis didn't care. They felt they had been shortchanged by the Jews. But so many things come through in this film, and he's such a great father and loving husband. So it's a very, very well made.
Very chilling to watch.
Yeah, it's really chilling.
So, I've heard great things about one more film, since my contribution to this podcast is not what I've watched, but what I've heard is very good. Since I've come as well prepared as Rajyasree. I don't remember the name of the film, but it's basically, it is a commentary on, the entire race being key to what you are expected to churn out. It's this black author who writes not about the black
American
experience.
fiction.
American
seen
fiction.
it?
Yeah, we reviewed it last
Oh,
episode.
you reviewed it last.
also.
Okay, so that I believe it's very good.
You should watch it.
and
It's really good.
And what's interesting is it breaks the narrative from the cinema. It breaks the wall, whatever it's called, and suddenly they discuss, okay, how should we end it? Because now this is what he should do.
Do they break the fourth wall? I've forgotten.
Are you
Keep
sure you
quiet.
watch these?
Keep quiet.
I have a feeling you are like one of those. You're one of those, because one of my friends used to write horoscopes
He
in
used
her
to
magazine. Weekend. I was like, you write horoscopes? She says, yeah. What's there? You just
So
write
I
the same
have to say, when I was 23, my first job was with the Tata. It was the internet boom, and Tata had started all these websites. So they had a women's website also called Woman Nova, and I was the editor for relationships, Vastu and something interiors and something else. I've forgotten, 4 or 5 things. And I used to write the Vastu column every week. I don't know anything about but I knew how to research.
That's very good.
The mirror should be on the left. Sometimes I'd say, let's put it on the right. Let's see what happens to people in Bombay.
So before we move on to the third, and while Rahul's here, because we have someone who actually does this for a living full time, I was just on Film Companion. Did you watch Savarkar?
No, I skipped that.
Bachu, you are
Out
also
of choice.
Kamchor, huh? They're tough ones you don't watch.
Arey, yaar, after Kashmir Files and all, I was like, let me live a little longer.
Okay, you watch Kashmir Files. And just want to remind everybody that News Laundry and News Minute are going to be covering the elections going forward. And it's going to be a very, very important election to cover. We want to cover it, earlier we've managed 4 states, 5 states. Between the two of us, News Minute and News Laundry, we can actually cover about 15 to 18 states. Major resources are required. Almost 20 of our reporters and producers will be traveling. We have to take our capacity of iPhones that we'll be shooting on up, the video editors who will be getting the video reports. You may have seen that the most robust and prolific coverage of the electoral bonds was by the common teams of some independent journalists, Scroll, News Minute and News Laundry. If we have the resources, we will not even be in the same league as traditional media with the kind of shit reportage that they do. But we don't want to depend on ads, and that is why we can do what we do. So do click on the links and contribute and pay to keep news free. It's important you do. See, we must learn something from everywhere. Even when I attended, meetings of certain organizations I don't agree with, you got to learn something from everywhere. The one thing that you should learn from this experience is you don't have to have watched or read or even know anything before commenting about it.
So George Bernard Shaw used to review plays. He would not go and watch the plays. He used to read the back of that pamphlet which used to be given out. And most of his reviews were very accurate. He said, I just get it from reading the back of the pamphlet.
So, the real tough watches are being done by our former colleague Deepanjana Bastar. She's reviewed. She has reviewed this also.
Savarkar? Did she watch Savarkar?
I think so.
Yeah. So Deepanjana's done Savarkar. Our friend Rahul has done Madgaon Express, which is a good one. He has done
Crew?
Yodha. Okay, maybe Yodha was a different
Yodha is
fun.
No, I did Atal. I'll tell you the last tough watch. It was Atal. That's where I was like, okay.
You didn't do the last Vivek Agnihotri film, which I watched.
Vaccine was, no, I don't think so.
What's it called again?
No, he's saying I have misaligned teeth because of a disability, so I can't say V and W properly. Vaccine was.
Well done.
God. It's
Okay,
like
because she always gets the words and W's
But you
wrong.
must watch Vaccine
you've
Wars.
given a very good review to Lapata Lady. Is this something I want to watch? Just give us a little bit about that. What's the theme and why is it good?
I really like Lapata Ladies. In fact, when I went into Crew, I was thinking that, okay, maybe it's maybe we'll take that forward. And I think Lapata Ladies is a much better version of what they were trying to accomplish. It's a nice, it's Kiran Rao's second film after Dhobi Ghat, which came like ages ago. And it's a lovely little film about like mistaken identities, two brides getting interchanged in a village, and just the chaos that follows after that. But yeah, I really enjoyed that film. It has also Ravi Kishan in it, which was strange to see, because we, first of all, we don't watch him in too many films, and secondly, we also see him in different kinds of films now these days. So yeah, it was a very enjoyable film. Probably my favorite Hindi film this year.
Oh, okay, great. So thank you so much for joining us, Rahul. Before we let you go, can you recommend some must-watches for our audience who are sick of me trashing everything and being so thakela uncle कि बेटा कुछ अच्छा ही नहीं है आजकल हमारे ज़माने में जब फिल्में होती थी. So give our audience something that they can actually enjoy.
It's funny, people do the same thing to me also. So it's and also, can I just say I love the fact that you haven't watched any of the films we discussed today. And
isn't it fabulous?
I truly learned something today. I'm going to try this one day. But yeah.
Is Madgaon Express worth watching is what I want to know. Because I wanted to go and see it in the big screen.
I enjoyed it very much. But then again, I think it was a 50-50 thing amongst reviewers. But I loved it. I highly recommend Merry Christmas, which is Sriram Raghavan's new film.
Right,
It's on Netflix now.
Katrina Kaif.
Yeah,
I didn't
Katrina
like.
Kaif, Vijay Sethupathi. It released in theaters, but now it's on Netflix.
Okay.
For me, that was probably my most memorable experience in the
Hindi
theaters
film?
this year.
It's Hindi.
Hindi. Yeah.
Okay.
It's Hindi.
Yeah.
And
It's
a little
also in
English.
Tamil.
Yeah.
It's also the same version is also in Tamil, but I haven't seen that.
Oh, I see. So it's no, as in it was originally in Tamil. The lip sync is to Hindi.
No,
or?
they did it both.
No.
Oh, wow.
They were
shot
shot
both.
together.
Oh,
Yeah.
great.
And she spoke in Tamil,
Oh, fantastic.
which I thought was quite impressive because I don't. So I thought it was very okay. I didn't think it was bad. I thought it was okay.
Because no, but I'm sure if Saif was in it, it would become a good film.
No, but Sanjay Kapoor was in it. Who was very funny. Yeah, he's become so
Who?
talented.
Anil Kapoor's brother?
He is so good
No
nowadays.
way, he's in it.
Rahul,
Don't
isn't he
tell
good
me your
now?
understanding of Sanjay Kapoor is still Anil Kapoor's brother.
My understanding of Sanjay Kapoor is Akhiyan Milla Kabhi Akhiyan Chura. And when you saw him, you were like, dude, is this like, those days there used to be lots of these shows about the top 10 songs of the week which are hosted by Sajid Khan. He wasn't the lecherous creep that he's known to be today.
No.
Or he probably was and nobody.
Exactly.
knew.
Or he wasn't this film director. He was this funny guy who would do these shows. And then there was Javed Jafri had this show called Fully Faltu, who was the funniest. I think Javed Jafri at his peak was the best VJ India has produced. He was so talented. It was phenomenal. The characters he used to create. This one Kasai from Bombay, one Christian from Bandra. He had these characters. But at that time, so a lot of these shows used to do a spoof, like Neetu De Ninnu, which was Shahid Kapoor's father, Pankaj Kapoor and Satish Kaushik. They used to play these two characters. So they used to sometimes spoof the song that they were going to. So actually many of us, when this song came out, we weren't sure whether the cut from Madhuri to him are they cutting from the heroine to the hero, or there's some joker playing the spoof.
No,
like that is what Sanjay Kapoor is doing.
But Sanjay Kapoor has become very talented. He becomes his character, nowadays.
He plays himself, which is great casting most of the time.
He plays
Also,
this
I'm curious.
bumptious, rich Punjabi guy like that.
I mean, after hearing Abhinandan talk so lovingly about Akshay Kumar and the 90s in general, I'm curious, how old do you think I am?
And 32, I don't know. Am I?
Correct,
38.
20.
But yeah, no, I grew up on the same things. I'm just saying.
You
The
did?
Sajid
Okay.
Khan show was one of my favorites.
He's near my age.
Which
Sajid Khan show.
Yeah, that that was quite funny. But Sajid Khan's show and Javed Jafri's show was separate about 7-8 years.
But
Timex Time Pass was dead by the time Sajid came around.
the last time I saw Javed Jafri, was at the Mukesh Ambani Shadi now. This Shadi, whatever, the pre-wedding celebrations, he was hosting something on stage. And I felt very bad for him.
Beta, the three Khans were dancing.
You were there.
No.
Dude, the three Khans were dancing there.
Yeah,
I for all, and Shah Rukh, if you're watching, I don't know if you know. But I love Shah Rukh. I'm a major Shah Rukh fan, like big time. I'm a Shah Rukh fanboy because of what he did to Bollywood, especially. I don't know if you remember that story of that Filmfare Award where Amar Singh misbehaved with the organizers and Shah Rukh was the guy who pushed back, etc., etc. So someone asked Shah Rukh, and his not arrogance but his self-assuredness,
nonchalance,
makes his off-model and arrogance a little. You let it pass. You don't. But I saw someone asked him that when will you see a film of you, Salman and Amir together? He said, "Beta, नंगे हो जाओगे, चड्डी में आ जाओगे, पैसे हैं तो बताओ." By the time you finish the fees of these three, you'll have nothing left.
Mukesh bhai has.
Now, I was like, Shah Rukh, we love you, but someone there should have said, you know what, Shah Rukh, there are a few people in this country who they won't come in that chaddi. If they call you, you will dance for free in your chaddi. 2 of them sit in Delhi. 2 of them sit in Bombay. So I think that is something no star should think.
क्या तीनों आमिर खान, सलमान खान, शाहरुख खान कभी तीनों एक फिल्म में देखे जा सकते हैं कभी? तो कैसी फिल्म
आप अफोर्ड कर सको तो ऑफर कर दो बेटा, चड्डी बनियान बिक जाएगी तीनों को साइन करते करते.
There's always a bigger bully than you. And this is a line from a Bud Spencer Terence Hill film. You know who Bud Spencer Terence Hill?
Okay. I grew up watching.
This big guy is beating up someone and Bud Spencer goes and bashes the fuck out of him and says, remember, there's always someone bigger than you. And that goes for me too. So I think it's Khan will be even more desirable, attractive, wonderful if he just turns it down a notch. Dude, you've danced for jerks, so don't take it easy on the swagger.
Such a lesson you've given us. Tell us a film that we should watch. Our viewers and listeners should watch.
He's already given us. You're not paying attention.
No, he didn't say. He said only
Merry Christmas bola na.
Merry Christmas only Merry Christmas.
You did not remember. Now don't try to recover that. Of course I remember.
I remember. I said I was not impressed by it.
I am seriously.
No, your Alzheimer's is affecting me.
After this, go to accounts and say, hey, give me badam allowance so that I can
give me some allowance. Keep quiet.
And give me allowance so I can go see that at a very young age. I'm forgetting what happened 5 minutes ago.
Keep quiet.
But thank you. This is a bit like I had an interview of a young person here who made famous the thing facts are facts, facts are not facts in this very studio, who did not remember what he said 5 minutes ago to me. I'm getting that vibe from here. But thanks so much, Rahul. Please, you can check out Rahul's stuff on Film Companion, his reviews. And hopefully we shall get him on the podcast where he gets to talk a little more and Rajyasree and I don't keep cutting in.
See you guys. Thank you for having me.
So Rajyasree, now before you tell us about this series that you watched, which is called The Regime.
Yes.
Want to remind everybody that do contribute. Our teams are raring to go and cover elections and we can't do it without you.
This show, which I think you really must watch it, Nico. It is so good. It's called The Regime. It is sadly the only negative thing about this show is that it is streaming on JioCinema.com. And because Jio has so much money, they have bought all the best programs. So anything you want to watch, it's on JioCinema right now. So if you can move past the fact that it's on JioCinema, The Regime stars Kate Winslet, who's also an executive producer on it, as far as I know. Yes, she's an executive producer on the show. She plays the dictator, the elected dictator of an Eastern European country. And she is clearly off her rocker. But there's a slight sanity. It's like Putin and all have that vibe going. She has that same vibe. Like something is not right over there. But she speaks sense sometimes and she manages the court of ministers with an iron fist, absolutely. Her dead father's body has been embalmed and kept in a coffin, a glass coffin, an air-conditioned glass coffin. She goes and speaks to him every day. and has
it's like a satire kind of
It's a satire.
She's doing some interesting work, Kate
and
Winslet.
she is so good in this. She's also done something. She does something to her lip. So one side of her, one side of her lip bends down. That's a little much. And so this is, and how has she come to power? There used to be a left PM or whatever, she is a chancellor, by the way. So there was a left leader who she ousted from power, and she said that the reason he has been ousted is because he was taking money from the West. I am not. I am here to look after all of you, and I'm this benevolent
dictator,
but she doesn't call herself. She's one of the people. She releases music videos. It's a total...
She's a with it dictator.
Yeah, she's with it, but she's very... And Kate Winslet is very attractive. So even when she's doing that thing with her lip, something she does, it goes down.
She's aged really well.
Oof, she just looks so good because she, as she says, see, when I do this, my eyes wrinkle. So she has not got work done on her face and all. But it is directed by Stephen Frears, who did The Queen. And he's done another very good show called A Very English Scandal. It is a 6 I think it's a 6 episode. The final episode is next week. So while she's married, she has a child who she did not carry. Because why should she not? Because she couldn't. She did not want to carry the child. So this other woman gave birth to the child, and that woman is kept on as like a handmaiden for the child. She's one of the normal ones. The cabinet of ministers is very, very funny. And there's this guy called Herbert Zubak, who they have these high security guards who work in these. She has mines. And he shoots a whole bunch of people. Now, every other year or so, she gets one of these. She gets a favorite person who basically she takes as a lover. But this Herbert Zubak becomes like a Rasputin kind of character.
I see.
Who starts influencing her. And she's very much in love with him. But that left leader is Hugh Grant.
Oh.
He's there for just
fun. He's
God,
aged.
He's so
no,
good.
but he's, I don't know, it's...
aged badly?
Yeah,
Because
when you see him without makeup, but I mean, Kate Winslet aged very well. I mean, I think, have you seen this film called Krantivir? So there was a song in that.
You know my age, I'm 30 plus 9.
Oh, that means you are old wine.
So the point I was making was that
you want to be a
Bindu
lyricist.
said, you know my age is 30 plus wine, that means you're old wine. So Kate Winslet basically...
That's what you were getting to. Because also Bindu reminds me of Kate Winslet basically. But
so I do have some contribution to make.
Yeah, but European skin, I feel, crumbles when they age because they keep going and sunning themselves, right? It's not good for your skin to do all these
No,
things.
it is, because I've been told I have vitamin D deficiency. So I'm taking pills. I might as well sit in the sun.
You're taking those vitamin D pills. A friend of mine got hospitalized because he had vitamin D deficiency. I have no such problems. I was also told by, this subtle racism that happens in India. I was telling, because I'd shared this video someone had posted, like one of these influencers had posted of what your nighttime routine should be for your skin before you go to sleep. She gave 8 bottles of things you're supposed to put. Toner, retinol, you finish toner, retinol cream, moisturizer, something. Anyway, by that time, it will be morning only. And in the morning, if you start, you will have finished your day. You don't have to go to work. You just keep putting all these creams on your face. So I shared it. This friend of mine, who is very fair, she said, but us people with fair skin actually have to look after our skin more than you people with dark skin. You blackies don't need to look after.
I
said, now melanin, what can I do? But anyway, this show regime is one of the cleverest satires that I've seen in a long time, and Kate Winslet is just excellent. Hugh Grant is there for exactly that one episode because the left leader You all should. This is spoiler. You'll stop listening for 2 minutes. She
Not
keeps
2
saying,
minutes, but 15 seconds.
she keeps saying that where has he gone? He has gone to America and he's living there and all. He's not. He's in prison in her dungeon. She has just been nice and given him a slightly, like, there's a drawing
Spacious
room and a thing, but he sees no, he goes out into the sun for 1 hour in the day.
Oh, so he'll also need vitamin D.
He definitely needs vitamin D.
By the way, Face on the Wall was not by Jerome K. Jerome, it was by E.V. Lucas.
Yes, that's what I thought, but I didn't want to correct you, okay? But as I would say, so I would strongly recommend this. I would recommend you watch this because it is such a good commentary on US politics, the way they interfere in Europe.
The moment I get back to watching stuff, the first thing I want to watch is the...
Crew.
No, the one which is on the news network, Succession.
No, Niku, that's 8 years of a show.
So let me get there first. So on that note, we shall be back.
Oh, we have a letter.
Oh, yes, please read it. But
two letters.
I'm just, I'm just wondering, like, I used to love going to the cinema.
Yes, Abhinandan, you have abandoned me. And
it's been, 4-5 months since I cannot bear to step into a mall. Just the thought of going to a mall gives me acidity. So I cannot get myself to go to a theatre.
But I don't do anything else in the mall. I go straight to the theatre. But even I saw this after
I don't
a long
have a
time.
broom. I can fly straight into my seat. I just have to go through the lift and the parking of the mall.
We should go and watch Madgaon Express.
I cannot. I mean, I think I have to go to a psychiatrist to psych myself into going out again.
No, but aren't there single screen theatres? Regal.
Just going out is such a
something. That is the thing only, I feel.
Hmm.
I also feel it's like 3 hours of your time gone. So, Gaurav Bora has written, and Gaurav, you will be so impressed by us because he's written, recommendation is to watch Zone of Interest. It's not a horror movie, but it terrified me like no other. The movie just revolves around the house of commanding officer next to the infamous German concentration camp Auschwitz and the small luxuries in there and how the wife is enjoying it, where next door millions are killed. The background sound of gunshots and screaming, more like in every house where there's one irritating sound of a fan or outside traffic. And the residents are so used to it that they don't react. I've never seen a movie like this. So we did review it today and it's a spectacular film, I have to say. The other thing I did not know, I just met this German ex-colleague of mine. And he was saying, he said, I find it fascinating. He'd gone to Madras, then he'd come here, and I think he went to Cal also. He said, every bookshop I pass, there's Mein Kampf is in the window. So I said, yeah. He said, in Germany, you can't have the book. If someone complains, you can have it. No one will. If someone complains, you go to jail. You're not even allowed to own it. So I said, we also have Mao's Little Red Book. It's like equal opportunity, this thing. But so I didn't know that it's not even allowed, permitted in Germany. And Aditya's written, hi Rajyasree, love your podcast and recommendations on A&E. Would be great if you can also do a recommendation on The Gilded Age. It already has 2 seasons out. You would have to bear Geo Cinema for it. I particularly liked it, especially loved Carrie Coon, who has carried the entire show. Thanks. Best Aditya. I don't know, Aditya. Everyone's told me to watch it, but I haven't been able to get around to it. But let's see.
And if you want to write in with your comments, your feedback, your suggestions, your criticism, or your praise, you can write to podcasts@newslaundry.com. I repeat, podcasts@newslaundry.com. In the subject line, please write ANA, so it goes to the right podcast. But a better way of doing this is click on the link in the show notes below. A window will pop up, and there you can give in your feedback. You just restrict it to about 150, 200 words, not more. Right. So on that note, I would like to thank all our listeners who have been contributing. Last week, actually, we got some good contributions for our election fund. So thank you if you're one of those who did. If you didn't and can afford to, you must fund journalism, because government ads funded journalism is taking this country to hell. So unless people step up, be ready to suffer in hell. So thank you to our sound recordist Anil. Thank you to our producer Priyali. And thank you, Ms. Sen.
Thank you, Mr. Sekhri.
It's a wrap.
Journalism at News Laundry is powered by the public. Because when the public pays, the public is served. Visit newslaundry.com/subscription and pick a payment plan of your choice. Pay to keep news free and independent. Your future, and indeed the future of democracy, depends on it.